This video will introduce the Scenario Setup template for the Freight and Fuel Transportation Optimization Tool, or FTOT. The Scenario Setup template is available beginning with FTOT version 2023.3, which was released in October 2023. This video assumes that you have installed FTOT version 2023.3 or later, and that you have downloaded the corresponding supplementary data and documentation from the FTOT landing page. If you have not yet installed FTOT, you can take a look at the Installing FTOT tutorial video linked in the video notes for additional guidance. In this tutorial, we'll show where to find the Scenario Setup template, provide an overview of its contents, and demonstrate how to run the Scenario Setup Conversion tool, which translates the template data into a set of scenario files ready to run in FTOT. The Scenario Setup template provides a user-friendly method for entering data and parameters for an FTOT scenario. The template consists of a series of worksheets that walk the user through the scenario setup process step by step. The template also includes drop-down boxes and other forms of validation to help users enter their supply chain data. Once all data have been entered in the template, the user can run the Scenario Setup Conversion tool within the FTOT Tools suite. The tool takes the completed Excel template file and creates a scenario folder populated with the necessary FTOT input files. First, let's locate the template file. From the C FTOT folder, open the Program folder, and then the Tools folder. Here you'll find both the blank FTOT Scenario Setup Template.xlsx, as well as a folder with example workbooks for a few of FTOT's quick start and reference scenarios. Let's open the blank template. Once you've opened the template, save a new copy to work from in your FTOT scenarios folder or wherever you prefer. The template includes different worksheets to enter your scenario and supply chain data. Full instructions on using the template are included in this first Instructions tab, as well as at the top of each worksheet. The Configuration tab includes user inputs that ultimately populate the scenario XML file, including default units, file paths, permitted modes, costs, and other settings. Cells in the bottom section are pre-populated with default values. The Commodities and Processes tab includes two types of inputs. On the left, fill out the table with the commodities needed in your supply chain. If you need additional rows for more commodities, just continue typing beneath the table, and new rows will appear. On the right, add any processing steps needed in your supply chain. For example, I may wish to create a process called Make Jam with input commodities, blueberries, and sugar that are combined in a 2-to-1 ratio to create the output commodity jam. This section is also used to specify whether processes will use existing facilities or whether facilities should be generated by FTOT using candidate generation steps. Copy and paste additional tables below to add more processes. Next, on the Facilities and Amounts tab, define each individual raw material producer, processor, or ultimate destination facility in your supply chain. Assign commodities or processes to those facilities. Information entered on the Commodities and Processes tab and on the Facilities and Amounts tab ultimately will be combined to create FTOT's facility commodity input files, specifically the RMP, PROC, PROC-CAND, and DEST CSV files. There is also a Reference Tables tab with other helpful information, such as a list of FTOT's default facility names and their locations. Now that we've walked through the template, we will show how to run the Scenario Setup Conversion tool to process the template into FTOT input files. We will use the already filled out example file for reference scenario 2, which illustrates processor candidate generation. Both the blank template and these example files will be automatically downloaded with the FTOT code files from GitHub. First, let's run FTOT tools. Go to the top level FTOT directory. As of FTOT 2024.1, you can run FTOT tools by double-clicking the Run FTOT Tools.bat file. If you have an earlier version of FTOT, see the user guide for instructions on manually launching FTOT tools. Double-click the bat file to run. Once you've launched FTOT tools, run the Scenario Setup Conversion tool, which is option 9. Drag and drop the Scenario Setup template file into the command prompt. We'll go back to find our reference scenario 2 setup file, and we'll drag and drop, click and hit enter. And then you'll need to provide the path for the new scenario files. We're going to save these files in our scenarios directory. Paste the path and name the new scenario folder. We're going to call this RS2 and hit enter. Now the tool has finished running and we see here the RS2 folder. If we open the folder, we have all the files we need to run our scenario, including in the input data folder, the various facility commodity CSV files. The scenario setup template can set up input files for scenarios that use processor facility capacities, candidate generation, maximum transport distance, and network density reduction, but as of 2024.1, is not able to set up input files for commodity mode specifications, disruption analyses, and facility schedules. For scenarios requiring the latter features, please refer to the FTOT user guide for instructions on how to generate the appropriate input files. Thank you for watching this video tutorial on using FTOT's scenario setup template. Please feel free to email us at ftot-team@dot.gov if you have questions or issues.